She's not a housewife, she's a house daughter. That's great. I'm happy for you.
And you're a house trollop. Be quiet.
Already married to a millionaire. What do I need to be paid
Congratulations. Not for long.
for? Put your fingers out of, please put your fingers out of my face, Rob.
This is putting my finger in your
Ashley Darbey has been called many things: bold, outspoken, fearless. But behind the champagne glass and the Potomac glamour lies a trail of controversies that have shadowed her every step. From her debut on The Real Housewives of Potomac, Ashley quickly became a fan favorite, the young, ambitious pageant queen who brought charm, energy, and unfiltered honesty to the screen. But as the seasons unfolded, that same candor turned combustible.
It's not a personal attack, and I'm not aiming to hurt you.
Yes, you are.
No, I do need him to be vindicated.
He has been vindicated.
No.
You are so sideways, Karen.
No,
That's
I'm
why
not
you have no
sideways.
real friends,
I'm not
Karen.
Katie. Step
Because
back.
I don't give a who the you are. You're Karen Hoover, and I'm talking to you.
Katie is sad, but you are broken.
I'm Ashley. I'm here.
What began as playful drama soon evolved into public feuds, marriage scandals, and social media storms that blurred the line between entertainment and uproar. Every confession, every argument, every tear on camera became part of a larger narrative, one that transformed her from a rising Bravo star into one of the franchise's most divisive figures.
Comes from a place of vindictiveness, nastiness, and evilness. You're a lying, vindictive bitch.
Do you just want to turn a blind eye? Because if that's the case, then just say so.
Well, I mean, you would
just
know.
say. Just say.
Ooh.
In this deep dive, we'll trace how a once charming reality star image unraveled amid personal conflict, legal scrutiny, and shifting audience perception. Expect documented disputes, public apologies, and digital firestorms that turned applause into outrage, and explore how Ashley Darbey's fame became both her platform and her undoing. Before the headlines and the hashtags, Ashley Darbey entered The Real Housewives of Potomac as the bright, youthful contrast to the show's established cast. A former Miss District of Columbia turned restaurateur, she projected confidence and ambition. Viewers met a woman determined to build an empire beside her older husband, Michael Darbey, a dynamic that instantly drew attention and, in time, friction. At first, Ashley's charm worked. Her openness about marriage, money, and identity gave her a relatable edge that boosted her popularity. Producers spotlighted her entrepreneurial side and playful energy, making her an early fan favorite. She brought freshness to a cast defined by etiquette and restraint. But that same candidness that made her magnetic also planted seeds for future trouble. Her willingness to say anything for a reaction, to challenge, tease, and provoke, became her brand. In the reality TV economy, shock sells, but it also sticks, and every bold moment on screen would later be replayed, dissected, and used to measure her credibility when the controversies began. By the end of the early seasons, Ashley was no longer just a personality. She was a talking point. Blogs debated her motives. Fans argued over whether she was brave or reckless. The spotlight she craved had arrived, but so had scrutiny that never switched off. Ashley's marriage to Australian businessman Michael Darbey was, from the start, a flashpoint. Their 29-year age gap and business entanglements became a running storyline. But what made it truly controversial were the cracks that showed on camera. Restaurant, Oz, and the financial pressure it put on their marriage. Ashley pushed for independence while Michael insisted on structure. And that power struggle spilled into public view. Fans saw Ashley in tears at reunion tapings, defending a relationship that looked increasingly strained. Then came the headlines. Reports surfaced of separations, reconciliations, and cryptic Instagram posts hinting at betrayal. Each season brought new speculation. Was Ashley staying for love or leverage? Her castmates voiced what viewers were thinking, turning private pain into public debate. When Ashley finally filed for separation, the news was met less with shock and more with exhaustion. Years of on-screen turmoil had desensitized the audience. What might have been a sympathetic story of heartbreak became instead another entry in a long list of personal controversies.
There's speculation that your divorce is not real and it's for the TV show and that you're still married and just will always be married to Michael.
First of all, people have seen a fraction of what Michael and I went through. So Ash, what was the holdup for filing divorce?
It was very contentious.
So it was just easier just to exist the way you were?
It was. We were coexisting, and I realize now that I'm on this very toxic cycle where we'll have great moments where I'm like, okay, we're co-parenting, we're friendly, we're nice, and then it's a roadblock. So when we were filming the show, we were in a toxic place. After we wrapped, he was so nice, everything was so good. And now I'm back in a toxic place. Oh. And what I've realized is that there are people who have narcissistic personalities. And so I'm breaking free. I have actually filed a complaint to really initiate my divorce.
Statements about co-parenting, financial arrangements, and emotional recovery were dissected for hidden motives. In the court of public opinion, every word sounded strategic, a reminder that once your personal life is content, it never fully belongs to you again. If the marriage itself created drama, the legal troubles surrounding Michael Darbey turned it into scandal. Over the years, multiple allegations against him became public, some tied to behavior during filming, others off camera. In one high-profile instance, Michael faced accusations of inappropriate conduct toward a cameraman during production. Bravo suspended filming, and the story exploded across entertainment outlets. The case was eventually dismissed, but the reputational damage was done. Even without convictions, the narrative stuck. A husband surrounded by allegations, a wife caught defending him on TV. Ashley's public stance, loyal but defensive, polarized viewers. Some admired her for standing by her partner, others saw it as complicity. During reunions, she found herself grilled by co-stars demanding accountability. What was intended as support looked to many like denial. These repeated incidents reshaped her image. The conversation shifted from Ashley's business and activism to the controversies orbiting her marriage. Sponsors hesitated. Bloggers dug deeper. The Darby's name became shorthand for reality TV scandal, a far cry from the wholesome power couple branding they'd once built. Even after her separation, Ashley couldn't escape the shadow of those stories. Social media users continued linking her name to Michael's past allegations, tagging her in every new rumor. In an industry where perception is profit, that linkage proved costly. Outside her marriage, Ashley built a second reputation, the pot stirrer of the Real Housewives of Potomac. From verbal sparring matches with Candiac Dillard Bassett to tense exchanges with Wendy Osefo and Karen Huger, she became synonymous with hypocrisy and manipulation. At reunion tapings, clips of Ashley's comments would play back as evidence, reminders of insults, gossip, and rumors that she'd spread. The most notorious feud came during the fight between Candiac and Monique Samuels. While the altercation itself divided the cast, Ashley's role as a witness and later as a letter writer in Monique's defense reignited outrage. Many viewers saw it as betrayal, a move that blurred lines between friendship and opportunism. Her pattern became predictable. Enter a storyline as peacemaker, exit as provocateur. The cycle fueled ratings but drained credibility. By season 7, fans questioned whether Ashley's drama was authentic or calculated for screen time. Social media amplified every misstep. Hashtags mocking her loyalty or motives trended after each episode. Her Instagram comments filled with both praise and anger, a digital reflection of a career built on controversy. The long-term cost became clear. In trying to stay relevant, Ashley risked becoming untrustworthy. Even sympathetic moments, her motherhood journey, her separation struggles, were met with suspicion. Reality TV fame had flipped on her, turning transparency into ammunition. Even off camera, Ashley's habit of speaking without filters followed her. On talk show panels and Instagram lives, she often delivered comments that were meant to be funny but landed as tone-deaf. One example came during a radio appearance where she joked about another cast member's appearance. Clips spread quickly online, stripped of humor and filled with outrage. The headline effect was instant. Ashley Darbey crosses line again. Her casual delivery, once seen as charm, began reading as arrogance. Fans asked why a mother of two would still play the provocateur role. Each misjudged remark reinforced the view that Ashley lacked empathy and self-awareness. Producers who once relied on her for sound bites now watched her interviews for damage control. By season 7, she'd developed a reputation for talking first and regretting later. The press stopped calling her outspoken and started using harsher words like careless. It proved that in reality, television, one viral moment of bad humor can erase years of goodwill. Ashley's social media presence became its own show. unpredictable, emotional, and often controversial. From subtweets about her castmates to cryptic Instagram captions about truth and betrayal, she kept the digital spotlight burning even when our hop was off air. But the more she posted, the worse it got. Screenshots of deleted comments resurfaced on fan pages. Every photo with Michael triggered hundreds of hostile replies. Even posts about her children became battlegrounds, with strangers debating her parenting. The problem wasn't just oversharing, it was timing. Apologies or explanations arrived too late, sometimes after a full news cycle of outrage. Instead of resetting her image, each post poured fuel on the fire. A few attempts to clap back at critics only made matters worse, painting her as defensive rather than reflective. Social media should have been her tool for transparency. Instead, it became her archive of missteps. By 2023, even neutral updates drew sarcastic responses. When the internet decides a celebrity is messy, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Behind the scenes, the consequences were visible. Brand partnerships that once came easily, beauty boxes, lifestyle collabs, hosting gigs, began to dry up. Companies quietly stopped tagging her or used other housewives for promotions. Publicists and event producers, wary of unpredictable headlines, labeled her high maintenance. Even Bravo, the network that made her famous, seemed to reposition her. Fewer confessionals, less central storytelling, more cautious editing. It wasn't an official punishment, but a sign of fading confidence. Producers reportedly worried about liability. Every season brings sponsors, and sponsors fear controversy. When Ashley's marriage drama overlapped with legal headlines, executives tightened control. The business lesson was clear. Conflict boosts ratings until it threatens revenue. Then the same system that built you decides you're expendable. By 2024, Ashley remained on the show but without the prestige she once commanded. Opportunities that used to follow exposure, guest hosting, brand ambassadorships, shifted to her quieter co-stars. Reality fame is a cycle. Hers was entering its downswing. Beneath the gossip, a more serious cost emerged. The constant scrutiny took a toll on Ashley's emotional life and family privacy. Scenes that once played as glamorous, luxury homes, social events, began to look exhausting. Her children's images were splashed across blogs analyzing custody details and support arrangements. In interviews, she admitted to feeling overwhelmed and judged. Yet the same openness that drew empathy also kept her trapped in the cycle of exposure. Every attempt at vulnerability became tomorrow's headline. Friends described her as torn between needing the platform and resenting it. Co-parenting with Michael under public speculation proved difficult. Even well-meaning fans crossed boundaries, sending unsolicited advice about divorce or motherhood. The result was isolation, a star surrounded by noise, but rarely trust. For viewers, her story became a mirror of modern fame, how easily ambition morphs into anxiety when personal life becomes performance. By now, the Real Housewives universe had changed. Audiences started valuing authenticity over wealth displays and shade throwing. Ashley, whose persona was built on provocation, struggled to evolve. Newer cast members gained traction by showing vulnerability, while she remained stuck defending the past. Interviews that once felt playful now sounded defensive. Critics said she clung to storylines that no longer resonated. Her career illustrates a broader reality TV lesson. Controversy keeps you visible, but not likable, and without likability, there's no longevity. Looking back, Ashley's story isn't just about misbehavior. It's about the price of exposure. She came into reality TV chasing success, and she got it. But sustaining fame meant feeding an audience that thrived on chaos. Over time, that chaos consumed her public image. Her marriage became content, her mistakes became memes, and her reputation became her cage. Other housewives reinvented themselves through business, charity, or humility. Ashley stayed on the defensive, trapped in cycles of conflict and explanation. In the end, she remains a cautionary example of how reality fame magnifies flaws until they become identity. The cameras made her famous, but they also magnified her downfall. In the end, the controversial side of Ashley Darbey isn't about one scandal, it's about accumulation. Her trajectory from breakout newcomer to polarizing veteran shows how reality fame magnifies every flaw. Each season gave her chances to reset, but self-awareness never arrived soon enough. She became a case study in how authenticity can turn performative and how brand survival requires restraint as much as drama. The moral is simple: attention isn't the same as respect. Ashley's visibility kept her famous, but the controversies kept her stuck. For anyone watching, castmate or viewer, the message is cautionary. When your life becomes content, you can lose control of both. Ashley Darbey wanted reality fame to build her empire, but controversy built its walls instead. The cameras may keep rolling, but the trust she lost may never fully come back.